So today we're going to take a look at what's going to happen if Luxembourg tries to form an empire in the modern day. This video is going to be very unrealistic, probably the most unrealistic one that we've ever had. But yeah, let's see what happens if they try to form an empire in the modern day. Let's see who they declare war on, how they expand, and all those other stuff. But before we get into this video, first of all, I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel. You can expect more mapping content on this channel. All major alliances like NATO, CSTO, the EU, or the UN, they do not exist in my videos. If they would exist, they would not let these countries to expand. But yeah, with all those things said, let's get right into the video. Now, if you look at Luxembourg here, you'd think that it's game over for them, for obvious reasons. They're surrounded by some very strong countries on all three sides, and in order to form an empire, they need to declare war on other countries. As of right now, they only border 3 countries. So what we're gonna have to do is, we're gonna have to give them a kind of technology, and with this technology, they would be able to clone men, other military stuff, and their population. Yeah, it's basically cloning. They're multiplying their population. That's the only thing that I can think of right now. Otherwise, Luxembourg forming an empire is an impossible thing. So yeah, a scientist comes up with this idea of cloning men and military equipment. They have the machines ready, and to first test it out, they declare war on Belgium. Now, Belgium is gonna laugh at Luxembourg here. They're gonna take them easy. They're not gonna be taking them serious, but that's gonna be Belgium's biggest mistake, because by this time, Luxembourg had cloned a lot of men and other military equipment. So yeah, now let's see what happens here. We can see that the troops from Luxembourg storm into Belgium, and the Belgians are surprised to see this. They had not expected Luxembourg to be this strong. We can see that Brussels was taken. The remaining parts of Belgium surrender because the Belgians were heavily outnumbered. And it sounds kind of funny, but yeah, they were heavily outnumbered. They couldn't possibly win this war. And in a peace negotiation, we can see that all of Belgium got completely annexed. But the neighboring countries are very shocked, and they still have not figured out how Luxembourg won this war and where did all the military equipment come from and all of the men. Without wasting any precious time, we can see that Luxembourg declares war on the Netherlands, and the Dutch knew what happened to the Belgians, and they're kind of on their own, and things are not looking for the Dutch, as we can see that the troops from Luxembourg now push into the Netherlands. The Dutch were heavily outnumbered, and in a matter of weeks, all the Dutch lands are lost. And in a peace negotiation, we can see that the entirety of Netherlands got completely annexed. Now the entirety of Benelux is united under Luxembourg. But yeah, as they expand, they're cloning even more men and even more resources. And this all has happened within months. So these other countries don't have access to this technology. Pretty much Luxembourg is the only country with this technology. And before the technology leaks, they're going to try their best to secure their position. Their major plan is to dominate Europe. And I'm talking about the entire thing, and with the amount of army they have, it's not going to be that hard. And so they want to take out the 2 major countries over here in Central Europe. Well, one is in Western Europe, but yeah, it may sound weird, but Luxembourg now declares war on France and Germany. And yeah, this is happening. By this time, a year has gone by since Luxembourg started all of this. So yeah, let's see what happens here. We can see that the troops from Luxembourg now push into Germany, securing all of the northern regions. They also push down from here, cutting off the French from the Germans so that they don't support each other. The troops over here still push around, securing all of the northern coastline. We can see that they push down from here, and both France and Germany are unable to push these guys back because more and more troops are arriving on the front lines, and these guys are heavily outnumbered. Eventually, we can see that Berlin falls. This was a huge blow to the German morale. These parts of France just go ahead and surrender, and Luxembourg has secured all of the northern regions of Germany. All that is left is Bavaria. But yeah, after losing pretty much everything, the remaining parts of Germany just go ahead and surrender. The French were trying their best to hold on, but now Luxembourg only has to focus on one front. So the troops from here arrive on the French front lines, and these guys storm in, eventually securing the capital city of Paris. And in order to avoid more casualties, we can see that the remaining parts of France go ahead and surrender. And not surprisingly at all, we can see that both Germany and France got completely annexed. Now, you may be thinking that the size of Luxembourg was this, and so how are they controlling all of these regions? Well, they have the cloning technology. They're spreading out their population, so their people are everywhere right now. They don't have to worry about rebellions. But now that they border some weaker countries, we can see that the Luxembourg Empire is going to be sending out some ultimatums. And well, these ultimatums are sent to countries like Denmark, the Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, as well as Slovenia. All these countries made a smart choice. They accepted the ultimatum. Every day the Luxembourg Empire is growing strong. Their cloning technology is still getting better and better, and no other country has access to the cloning technology. This all happened within 3 years. And yeah, as I said in the very beginning of this video, Luxembourg wants to dominate Europe, and that is just going to happen. As we can see that the Luxembourg Empire now declares war on the Iberian. As we can see that the Luxembourg Empire now wants Iberia, so they go ahead and declare war on Spain and Portugal. So let's see. We can see that the Luxembourg troops storm into Spain, securing all of Catalonia. And by the way, as their military was getting better, they were focusing on their navy too, which is very formidable right now. So yeah, we can see that they make a naval landing in Portugal. Unfortunately for the Portuguese, they lost their capital city of Lisbon. Luxembourg troops now push around, securing all of the main regions of Portugal. The remaining country surrenders. We can see that they push down the coast, and they push in from Portugal too. But finally, we can see that one army is now getting to the capital city of Madrid. Unfortunately for the Spanish, they were heavily outnumbered. After they lost Madrid, we can see that the remaining parts of Spain just go ahead and surrender. And both these countries got completely annexed by Luxembourg. This was a decisive victory, and pretty much their western borders are secured. But now we can see that they're sending out more ultimatums, and the ultimatums are sent to the following countries: Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Bosnia, Ireland, Iceland, as well as Norway. And yeah, this is what Europe looks like right now after Luxembourg took over most of these countries. But for their last military campaign, we can see that the Luxembourg Empire is now ready, and they're going to be taking out the remaining major countries in Europe, and these countries were the UK and Italy. We can see that Luxembourg secures Northern Ireland, and they make a naval landing in Scotland, pushing around, cutting off the northern parts, who then go ahead and surrender. They make another naval landing down here, and unfortunately for the Brits, they lost their capital city of London. Once again, as I said, heavily outnumbered. We're talking like 10 million troops against 600,000. The remaining parts of the UK surrender, and Italy just switches sides. They never do that, but they had to do it once because they're always so trustworthy. But yeah, after taking out these major countries, everyone in Europe has now realized that Luxembourg is the only true power, and that they cannot be defeated, and that one day, if these guys don't surrender, they will lose a lot of troops. Their infrastructure is going to be destroyed. So yeah, in order to avoid that, a few events are going to take place. Belarus joins Russia, who's the only country that can resist against the Luxembourg Empire. Remember, invading Russia is not the easiest thing, even for the strongest countries. The Baltics form a union, but that's going to be useless. The Luxembourg Empire now sends ultimatums to all of these European countries, excluding Russia, and all of these countries accepted the ultimatums. The countries which did not accept the ultimatum are Ukraine and the Baltic nation, and so Luxembourg declares war on both these countries. But because of the pressure from the general public, and because of this pressure, before even fighting the Luxembourg Empire, we can see that these countries surrender. And so we can see that pretty much most of Europe is now under the Luxembourg Empire's control. But yeah, this is the Luxembourg Empire at its peak. So this is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to see in the future. And thank you for watching.